Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ayyul salat. Ayyul salat. Ayyul falah. Ayyul falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah Rasulullah.
Assalamu alaikum
Wa alaikum assalam.
Alhamdulillahi namahadu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Wa asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lahu wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan rasuluhu sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Praise be to Allah. We seek His help and His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the evil of our own souls and from our bad deeds. Whomsoever Allah guides will never be led astray. Whomsoever Allah leaves astray, no one can guide. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, the one having no partner, and I bear witness that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is his slave and last messenger. Brothers and sisters, I am before you today looking to accomplish a couple of goals. One, to give you a good word from the book of Quran, and some good words from the Sunnah of the Prophet, and to give you some information or convey some information to you that will be some way of guiding us to the right path and moving in the spirit of what Allah has intended for all of mankind. He's intended for us to be the leaders, the caliphs. He intended for the Muslim to be the one who guides mankind to a way of life that is just, a way of life that is caring for the poor, caring for the sick, caring for those who are in need, and a way of life, a model community, shall we speak, a model community where people can look to us and say, that's the way life is supposed to look. That is the way in which, that's the good life, so they say. And that is my goal, is to give you some words that will move us in that direction. Inshallah, Allah will guide my tongue, guide my spirit and my mind and my heart, and impart some words of wisdom so we can accomplish just that. I was given the task today of speaking of Surah Ikhlas, and what does that mean to me? What has it done for me in my life? And what is it that Surah class. How is it that this surah can give life to the dead? And inshallah, we'll get started and we'll accomplish just that. So we're going to begin with the words of Allah. Al-Ikhlas, the purity of faith. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Say, He is Allah, the one and the only. Allah, the eternal absolute. He begetteth not, nor is He begotten, and there is none like unto Him. Allah surely speaks the truth. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Kuhu Allahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid, Walam Yalad, Walam Yakulo, Kufawan Ahad. You gotta forgive me, it's my first khutbah, so I know that to give the Arabic is the purest form of the communication from Allah to Prophet Muhammad, and that is the purest communication to give to mankind. There's times when the translation of the Arabic can slightly be different than what was intended. So it's very important for us, if we're in a position to read the Arabic, to read the Arabic, and then of course we need to speak the language of our people. We need to speak the language that people can comprehend. So that was the English is short, so I'm going to say it again. Say, He is Allah, the one and only, Allah, the eternal absolute. He begetteth not, nor is He begotten, and there is none like unto Him. This is a short 4 verses in the Quran. And the simplicity of these 4 verses, you would say, man, from the outside looking in, it's not a lot of words, but the magnitude and the gravity of these 4 verses are so heavy. It's so impactful. It's the weight of the oneness of Allah is such a powerful thing. I just had a conversation with the brother before we got started, and I'm going to go revisit that conversation because this is the whole intent and purpose of me being before you today. Why am I here? Why am I in front of you today? The reason I'm here and I'm in front of you is out of concern. It's a concern that I have for my brother. It's a concern that I have for my sister. A concern that I have for my family. A concern that I have for my ummah. And then humanity in all. And the reason I am before you is, unfortunately, in this day and time, in this day and age, as our societies, they go from the beginning of time where Adam alayhi salam was first here on earth, and it was very, very simple life. There was, nothing of Allah's creation other than Allah's creation was there. And now we have these cities, this transition over time where we have cities, you have technology, you have information you can get from, the blink of an eye. You can move pretty much at the speed of thought now, right? So as time progresses and as technology and worlds become more, more complex, then the schemes of Shaitan will become more complex. And as the schemes of Shaitan become more complex, the whole objective and the whole idea of what Shaitan wants to do for you is to take you out of the nature that Allah has intended for you. That is the trick of Shaitan. That is his sole purpose. That is his objective. So we're going to go to Quran to give you a little bit of words from Allah to speak on this. We're going to go to Surah 17. Surah 17, ayat 61 through to 66. Behold, we said to the angels, bow down unto Adam. They bowed down except Iblis. He said, shall I bow down to whom thou didst create from clay? He said, seest thou, this is the one whom thou hast honored above me. If thou wilt but respite me to the day of judgment, I will surely bring his descendants under my sway, all but a few. Allah said, go thy way. If any of them follow thee, verily he will be the recompense of you all, an ample recompense. Lead to destruction those who thou canst among them. With thy seductive voice make assaults on them. With the cavalry and thy infantry. Mutually share with them wealth and children, and make promises to them. But Satan promises them nothing but deceit. As for my servants, no authority shalt thou have over them. Enough is thy Lord for a disposer of affairs. Your Lord is he that maketh the ship go smoothly for you through the sea, in order that ye may seek of his bounty, for he is unto you most merciful. So in those verses, there's a lot to unpack in these verses. And the most important aspect to these verses is the one to understand that Allah has created this life form for us, and He's also put in this life form some struggles. Allah wants a simplistic, beautiful life for us, but it doesn't say that we're just going to be here and then just have a good old time and then die and then have another good old time, right? The shaitan, the one who was accursed, the one who was kicked out of the place of heaven, he was an arrogant individual. He was a person who said he felt as though he was the next in succession. He felt as though he was the one who should be next. He asked of Allah, you're going to bring one who's going to bring mischief in the land? You're going to bring one who's going to disobey you? You know, I'm the one that's next up for this promotion. And Allah said to him, you know what I know what you know not, right? He understands that the creation of mankind, we have the ability and the nature to ascend to the highest of heights and be very similar to the beautiful words of Allah. Most merciful, most compassionate, most forgiving, the one who can do all. Well, now I would say do all things, but the good words of Allah. Allah has many names and many words, and when we emulate those words of Allah, then we are doing what we are supposed to do and what we are intended to live in the light of Allah. And Shaitan, being as though he was arrogant and kicked out, he felt that he was better. He said, "I vow." He's an accursed enemy of you, from the beginning of time to the end of time. No different than the cat and the dog. No different than the cockroach and man, right? Shaitan is here. He will come from your left. He will come from your right. He'll come from before you, and he'll come from behind you. And his intention and his goal is to get you out of the nature that God has intended for you. But the beauty of this and the beauty of our existence is the only power he has is to whisper to you. He has no power over you whatsoever, only to give you a suggestion. So think of a person that comes to your ear and says, "Hey, you know, if you go rob that bank, man, you can come get a couple dollars, anybody will catch you." Right? But you as the human being, the highest level of creation, you have to take that whisper and you have to understand the tricks of Shaitan. If you are able to discern what he's bringing your way, then you have the ability to negate that. You have the ability to, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Allah is more important than the money I got. Allah is more important than the lack of money I have. Allah is more important than everything in my life. So whatever whisper comes from Shaitan, you have the tools and you have the wherewithal and you have the ability to shut that down, inshallah. Alright, the next part of this ikhlas, the simplicity of ikhlas. It's so few words, but it's so unpacked. The mercy of Allah. From the beginning of time to the end of time, Allah has given guidance to His creation. Allah didn't just create us and then just say, alright, you guys go figure it out on your own. Alright? If you go buy that 745 BMW, right, and you have no instruction manual in that BMW, you're not even going to get the benefit of that $70,000 car. You're just going to be in a big old vehicle that goes from point A to point B. But you're not going to know how to use the technology in it. You're not going to know how to get the most out of it, right? So the creator of anything that's created, it is wise to give you an instruction manual. It's wise to give you the ability for you to go and reference what is it that I can do with this life? What is it that I can do to reach my fullest potential? Alright, so Allah has given that mercy to us in the form of the Quran. But it's up to us to open this Quran and then figure out what it is it means for our lives so that we can be successful in this life. Alright, and the next part to that is, unfortunately, with religion, we have come to a place where ritualism has overridden the logic and the intellect. And what I mean by that, we have people that say their 5 prayers a day, don't know what the heck they just said. We got people that read Arabic, they have no knowledge of what they're saying. You have people that look at hadiths and that information isn't obtained the right way based on the life and sunnah of the Prophet. So all that to say that the mercy of Allah is that He gave you His creation. He put inside of you already everything you need to know to be successful. But not only did He put it inside of you, the fitra that is, He's closer to you than your own jugular vein. So He's closer to you than you are to yourself. So He's given you the guidance inside of you already. But then He also given you the guidance of the Quran. And then the example of Prophet Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, so that you can check and balance what it is that you're thinking and what it is that the nature has already given to you, and make sure that that is in line with Allah intended for you. Alhamdulillah. miracle of Islam. So the miracle of Islam is that Allah has perfected this religion for you. And this is so beautiful. The Islam, right? Islam is here from day one. Adam alayhi salam was Muslim. Adam alayhi salam, he preached this message, the oneness of Allah. So the first human being that was created, the first human being that walked this earth, he preached the oneness of Allah. And then there were many prophets that come after that. Every prophet of Allah, every messenger of Allah, anyone who Allah has given direct communication to, they all, Allah is my witness, preach the same thing, the oneness of Allah. Think of the level of craziness, the level of inability to do something. If you had 3 people you had to answer to. It's insane. You go to a job, there's not 4 CEOs. You go to a football team, there's not 4 head coaches. You go anywhere, there's nowhere in life where you have a group of people that are going to move forward in one direction, on one mission, and you got 6 different people you got to listen to. It makes absolutely no sense. So the beauty of this religion is it is a complete, total way of life that gives you the ability to understand from your own intellect and your own reasoning that this makes sense. This is something that is true, and there's nothing that you can go into this Quran and debunk. There's nothing in this Quran that you can dispute. There's nothing in this Quran that you can say isn't correct. The only thing you can say is, oh Allah, give me more understanding and more hikmah, so that when I do read this Quran, I understand more what I do not understand right now. That's the only thing that can be said. Allahu Akbar to that. So the miracle of Islam, I'm going to go to the ayat that gives evidence for this. Looking at Surah 5, ayat 3, Al-Ma'idah. And forgive me that I don't know the Arabic. I was thinking about doing a transliteration, but I said, I'm gonna just give you the words from Allah in the translation. And inshallah, I will improve myself and be able to give you the Arabic and the English in the future, inshallah. Forbidden to you for food are dead meat, blood, the flesh of swine, and that on which hath been invoked the name of other than Allah. That which have been killed by strangling or by a violent blow, or by a headlong fall, or by being gored to death, that which hath been partly eaten by a wild animal, unless ye are able to slaughter it in due form. That which is sacrificed on stone altars, forbidden also is the division of meat by rifling with arrows, that is impiety. This day have those who reject faith given up all hope of your religion. Yet fear them not, but fear me. This day I have perfected your religion. For you completed my favor upon you and have chosen for you Islam as your religion. But if any is forced by hunger with no inclination to transgression, Allah is indeed oft forgiving, most merciful. So, what we see and what we unpack in this beautiful ayat of the Quran, Allah has perfected this religion. The religions that came before, they are in line and in tune. The righteous parts of the religions that came before are in tune, are in line with Al-Islam. The Torah that Moses has revealed, Allah be pleased with him. The Injil that Isa has revealed, may Allah be pleased with him. The words of the prophets are in line with Islam. Now mankind has taken some of those words, and you can go into those books and you can say, okay, you can pick apart this, pick apart that, but that's not the words of the prophet. Those are words of mankind over time being transitioned and being changed to fit their schemes and to fit the ways in which they want to manipulate people. And the beauty of this Quran is it says that this Quran will never be tampered with. The same Quran that you read today is the same Quran that we'll read 100 years from now. If human life is still here on earth, 500 years from now, it'll be the same Quran 500 years from now. And the beauty of it is it's not actually a physical book. The physical book is what we use to learn and read from, but the actual Quran is inscribed on the heart. So you can go to a person that's Hafiz, he's going to read the same ayat in Arabic the same way another person from another place that never had any cultural connection going to read the same Quran. That is a miracle of the Quran. There's no other book that has that ability to say that. None. None whatsoever. Alright? Moving right along. When Jibril gave revelation to Prophet Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, the first revelation that came to Prophet Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him, was read Read in the name of your Lord. So it's two parts of that I want to bring to light. The first part is, and if there's anything that is not correct, please correct me afterwards. But what I want to get at is this. Prophet Muhammad, some think, was an illiterate man, a man who didn't read books. But for him to have the Quran to be revealed for him, or the first ayat to be read in the name of your Lord, what Allah, I think, is saying is, He's not speaking of the high intellect that you have in your PhDs and your scholarships and your colleges and things of that nature. The wisdom of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings, is he could read the creation. He can read the signs of Allah. He can read whatever Allah had in his vicinity. He was able to read that like the best of any college professor you have in any of the land. The highest example for mankind. So I can't even compare no PhDs to him. He's the highest. He is the one who gives us the one to look to for the example. So I say that to say that we also have the ability. The signs of a creator are all around us. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, there are signs in creation coming and going all around you. The more madness you have in the city, the harder it is to read those signs. You go out to the nature, you go out to the woods, you go out to where there's nothing but Allah's creation, and you sit and you meditate, then it will give you the ability to read that creation and give the ability for you to understand what Allah is trying to tell you in His creation. But nonetheless, just understanding the signs of creation is very, very important for us. So I'm going to go to another surah that's talking about the signs of creation, and I'm going to share with you some signs of creation. This is Surah 22, Al-Hajj, and this is ayat 16 to 18. Thus have we sent down clear signs, and verily Allah doth guide whom He will. Those who believe in the Quran, those who follow the Jewish scriptures, and the Sabians, Christians, Magians, and polytheists. Allah will judge between them on the day of judgment, for Allah is witness of all things. Seest thou not that to Allah bow down and worship all things that are in the heavens and on earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the hills, the trees, and a great number among mankind. But a great number are also such as are fit for punishment, and such as Allah shall disgrace, none can raise to honor, for Allah carries out all that He wills. So Allah speaks clearly. He speaks distinctly. He gives you clear ways of understanding that everything in Allah's creation is Muslim. The sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, the ants, all of Allah's creation, it is all Muslim. And when we are able to look into His creation, it helps us to understand and read ourselves. It helps us to understand ourselves and understand some of the challenges that we go through on this path of, in this existence of life, and trying to move forward to being better human beings. So I'm going to go with you on one of the signs that I want to speak to you about, and it is going to be connected to Ikhlas. Alright, so the sign of creation that I want to go forward with. In nature, Allah has this creation, the cockroach. And He also has this creation, the jewel wasp. And I want to tell you a little bit about the natural phenomenon. You can YouTube this when you get home, and you can see that this is true and clear information. But these are clear signs for us to understand ourselves and to understand how the tricks of shaitan are designed to keep us complacent, to keep us stagnant, and to stop us from being the cleavers of the earth, and stop us from developing this model community that I'm speaking of. So the story and the phenomena of the jewel wasp and the cockroach. The jewel wasp is a cursed enemy of the cockroach. Alright? So the same way that we have an accursed enemy in nature, animals and insects have accursed enemies. So the jewel wasp is an insect that actually hunts down the cockroach. And as it stalks the cockroach, the first thing that it does is it grabs onto this cockroach and it injects a serum into the cockroach. Immediately when the cockroach, of course, in his natural element of being a cockroach, he's trying to live just like any other of Allah's creation. He wants to live. He wants to, live his best life as a cockroach. So when that jewel wasp attacks him, of course, he's fighting. The jewel wasp injects a venom inside of the cockroach so that it becomes subdued and becomes relaxed. The moment that serum or that venom enters the cockroach, it becomes subdued, becomes relaxed. Now this part is the part that tripped me out. Then the jewel wasp, he actually takes a surgical syringe and goes into the brain of the cockroach, and he puts a serum into the cockroach so the cockroach becomes a docile creature. So this cockroach no longer is fighting. This cockroach is no longer trying to escape. This cockroach, he actually starts making move. He starts actually cleaning himself, making wudu. He's just sitting there, and the jewel wasp is on top of him. Once he puts the serum inside the brain, and he gets the wasp to be a docile creature, he's no longer fighting. Next thing he does is he takes the antennas and he cuts the antennas off. This is deep. Cuts the antennas off. So now that he cuts the antennas off of the cockroach, we're going to unpack what that means in a second. Cuts the antennas off from the cockroach. Then he takes the cockroach and he drags him down into the burrow. He drags him down into the burrow. This is a female wasp. Drags him down into a burrow. And once the cockroach is down into a burrow, he takes the female takes a larva. She doesn't eat the cockroach herself. She takes a larva and she injects it inside the abdomen of the cockroach. Once the larva is inside the abdomen of the cockroach, she pretty much goes out of the little cell, shuts it off like it's in a jail cell, and then she's on doing her merry thing on to the next cockroach. So the next part to this is this larva that is inside of this little cell that's feeding off of this cockroach. The cockroach is alive. The cockroach still has its senses. The cockroach is still a cockroach, but it's not in the nature that God intended for it. The cockroach is sitting there subdued under this trance, and it's there for the betterment of the next wasp generation. So that larva is going to consume, it's going to grow, it's going to consume, eating the insides of the cockroach. And once it kills the cockroach, that cockroach is dead. Then it comes out of that cockroach. The jewel wasp is now a grown female jewel wasp. It leaves the jail cell and then it's on to the next cockroach. So some might say, what that got to do with anything? All right? But if you are able to discern, if you're able to take a look at the signs of creation, and you're able to see yourself in creation, then you can see and you can understand how if we are not following the light of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet, then many of us, the concern that I have for our brothers and sisters that are not here today, I know I'm preaching to the choir right now, but the many of our brothers and sisters that are outside these four walls, outside these walls, that are going to and from every day, they never even live a life of a human being. They wake up from the day that they were born. Allah put the perfection in the human fetus. All right, the human fetus is in wudu 9 months straight. It's perfected. All right. Once that fetus is born into the world, it's the environment that takes that fetus and takes that baby and changes what Allah has intended for it and gets it out of its game plan, gets it out of its path. So the example of this jewel wasp and the cockroach is no different than the African American human, the African American in America. Right? We were never brought to these shores so that we can live the milk and half of the milk and honey and live the fruitful life that most of Americans enjoy. That's not the intent and purpose for us to being brought here. The intent and purpose for us to bring brought here was to be preyed upon and allow their generations, the people that are oppressors, to take advantage of us, keep us in a life of servitude, and for them to benefit and for us to stay still, to stay stagnant. So I'm here to tell you, I'm here to let you know, if we continue to come to Jumu'ah, shake hands on Friday, and then I don't see you till the next Friday, shake hands, and then I come from a masjid. Alhamdulillah, I was born into a Muslim household, but it was a very small community, similar to this. As a child, I remember kids running around, I remember children, I remember youth, I remember adults. I go back today, no youth. No youth, what is that a sign of? If we don't start having some youth, we don't start breaking these walls down and bringing more people here, then Allah says He will replace those who don't do what He has. He's giving you the torch of Islam, and if you don't get out here and go express this and give this information to the people that need it, He'll replace you. So we have to take this seriously, brothers and sisters. We got people out here that are dying. We got people out here that have no knowledge. We got people out here that are similar to the cockroach, and they have no clue of the cultural orientation that they have. They have no clue of the ikhlas, the oneness of Allah. They have no clue of what it means to even be human. Right? The beauty of the creation of the human is we can be the best of the best and to be similar to the benefits and the blessings of the best words of Allah, or we can be the worst of humanity. We got the decision. We can make that choice. And when we are taken off of our path, if no one comes and saves us, then we are the worst of humanity. And when we see our brothers and sisters that are struggling, going to jail, pants half off the butt, all those situations. It's not by accident. When you look at the most negative statistics in America, we always seem to be number one. It's not by accident. So I'm here to express to you, and I'm here to allow you to know that the words that we speak here has to be disseminated into this community. So, inshallah, we can move forward and we can be mindful of the signs of creation and be mindful of the words of Allah and understand that for us to be the model community, this information has to get out of these four walls. So, all right, moving right along, man. It's it's a blessing to be before you today. Allah, the one who is the Lord of all the worlds, right? This is Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to God, the cherisher and sustainer of all the worlds. And I said Al-Fatiha so I can get to that point right there. Allah is the Lord of all the worlds. So if we are the highest level of creation, if you were blessed to be the highest level of creation, some people, they're in a spooky world where they thinking that there's some alien world or some world out there that aliens can get here. And you are the highest level of creation. There's nothing out there in the cosmos, in the space that is going to trump your existence here on Earth. Right? If there are other worlds, those worlds will never come into existence in this. Allah is the best of knowers, but when He says He's the ruler of all the worlds, what that means is there are many worlds here in this world, in this society. You have the world of business. You have the world of science. You have the world of politics. You have the world of social sciences. Every piece of information, Allah is the one who is the most gifted in all of those pieces of information. If you take the best scholars of the best universities, the knowledge that they have that is, at the forefront of mankind right now can touch what Allah has. Right? We'll go to Surah 31, ayat 26 to 34.